FM News. On point.
Look at the news. The National Unity Platform presidential flag bearer Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu has suspended his campaigns in Kalangala following arrest of his campaign team. During a media engagement at his home in Magere, Kyagulanyi stated that since he started his campaigns, many members of his on his campaign trail have been tortured and arrested. He's, through his lawyers, decided to petition the International Criminal Court to investigate these actions against him and his supporters.
I'm supposed to be campaigning in Kalangala, where I was blocked last time, but we got information that once again the regime using the military were intending to attack us, brutalize us, and arrest all our supporters. Therefore, we sought the redress of the International Criminal Court. We have petitioned the International Criminal Court to issue an arrest warrant. All the police and military officers that have committed and continue to commit crimes against humanity.
The Interparty Organization for Dialogue has committed to ensure a peaceful election slated for next week. The Deputy Secretary General DP Christine Kasule Mugera says DP believes in truth and justice, and if free and fair elections are held, cases of violence can easily be avoided. At the same function in Kampala, where they signed a memorandum of understanding with the Electoral Observers Women's Situation Room to promote peace, the Secretary General of the ruling NRM Party, Kasere Mumba, said government will address all the issues to ensure peaceful elections.
That we should not use language like politics is a dirty game, because politics is not a game. It's about the lives of people, and it needs to be taken seriously. So when we are engaging in politics, we should ensure that the politics we play puts Uganda first. So as a party, as the Democratic Party, under the auspices of IPOD and facilitated by NIMD, we participated and committed to the I Choose Peace campaign.
The Assistant Private Secretary to the President of Uganda, who's been on remand over charges of giving false information to the Electoral Commission officials, has been released on bail. Caroline Kembabazi, an employee of State House in charge of poverty alleviation in Western Uganda, has been granted a cash bail of 1 million shillings by Buganda Road Court Grade 1 Magistrate Gladys Kamasanyu after presenting to sureties who've been bonded 10 million shillings, not cash. Kemba is said to have verbally given false information to the Human Resource Officer of the Electoral Commission that the President assigned her to get employment for Kenneth Magezi, Duncan Muramuzi, and Elia Abomide as Assistant District Registrars, whereas not, and as a result, put them on pressure to adhere to her orders. The case will now return to court January 27th for further hearing. In sports news, KIU Basketball Club President Nasser Serunjoji has unveiled a 3-man board that will guide the club to achieve desired targets. KIU Basketball franchise affiliated to Kampala International University is home to KIU Titans men and KIU Rangers women that compete in the National Basketball League. Seasoned journalist Mark Sali has been appointed chairman and will be assisted by Alex Businje and Laman Pio Masaba. Club President Serunjoji says it is a new chapter in making the club one of the best on the continent.
We thought it wise that for us to develop, for us to grow the game generally, we need to be organized. We need to have structures in place, and we need to move away from the tendency of one-man individual-owned clubs, whereby if you're not there tomorrow, then the club will cease to exist. We have a plan that even after 100 years to come, the KIU basketball franchise must exist regardless of who is available or regardless of who is around.
In other news, Iran's supreme leader has banned the government from importing COVID-19 vaccines from the United States and Britain, labeling the Western powers untrustworthy as the infection spreads in the Middle East's hardest hit country. In a live televised speech, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei raised the prospect of the two Western countries, longtime adversaries of the Islamic Republic, possibly seeking to spread the infection to other countries. He added, however, that Iran could obtain vaccines from other reliable places. He gave no details, but China and Russia are both allies of Iran. Iran launched launched human trials of its first domestic COVID-19 vaccine candidate late last month, saying it could help Iran defeat the pandemic despite U.S. sanctions that affect its ability to import vaccines. Tensions between Washington and Tehran have risen since 2018 when President Donald Trump abandoned Iran's 2015 nuclear deal and reimposed sanctions to pressure Tehran into negotiating stricter curbs in its nuclear program, ballistic missile development, and support for regional proxy forces. In retaliation for U.S. sanctions, which were lifted under the nuclear deal, Tehran has gradually violated the accord. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden, who takes office on January 20th, has pledged to rejoin the agreement if Tehran also returns to full compliance. Khamenei said Tehran was in no rush for the United States to re-enter the deal, but that sanctions on the Islamic Republic must be lifted immediately. And that was the news.
XFM News on point.